perfect leader, teacher, and God, and I pray for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I would like to keep the believers in the nation good as a peace and love paradise. Assalamu alaikum. How's everyone doing today? All praises due to Allah. First and foremost, I would like to thank the believers for coming out today, especially today because it's a little cold.
Yes, sir.
And all of our bodies make each other warm. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Well, the brothers, to the sisters that may, the brothers was coming together with a plan on how we're going to heat this building up as the temple winter months progress.
Yes, sir.
So don't, there's going to be a new change out of the brothers where it's going to be more results and more answering the needs of one another here at the temple. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And part of us stepping up what we do and how we look at the temple is how we treat to each other and how we listen to one another. Is that right?
Yes,
so when believers got legitimate concerns, we try our best to satisfy these concerns. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
But when we have legitimate concerns, we can't address them in any old way. Is that right? You know how when we get, we all got problems and shortcomings and flaws, but when our shortcomings and flaws are poured out in an antagonistic or in a sarcastic or belittling manner, then now the defense come up, and out of manhood and out of pride or out of sisterhood, we may not want to make the changes. So when at times when we see that we need change, let's go to a solution in a better way to get it done rather than, we splitting each other and clowning each other. Is that right? All praise is due to Allah. Here at Muhammad's Symbol of Islam, again, I would like to thank the believers for coming out. And the reason why we urge the brothers and the sisters to join on to the temple and accept Muhammad's teachings of Islam is because the dust that is on the black man and the black woman has to be removed.
Yes, sir.
There's a scripture in Isaiah. Brother Minister was teaching on chapter Isaiah this week. And as I was reading Isaiah, a chapter of chapter 52, verse 2 stuck out to me. And it said, talking about the captives, those who were carried away captive. It said, it's time for you to arise and shake the dust off of you. Get a throne and things of that nature. And it started talking about how Allah will now take the dust off of a people. Now, and that's what my topic is about today, because that's what Muhammad's Temple of Islam is designed to do. It's designed to give you a teaching to shake the dust off of us, to shake the cobwebs up off of us, because we sleep most of the day, brothers and sisters. We're unconscious most of the day. We're non-productive most of the day. We're impotent most of the day. So Muhammad's teaching is designed to give us a teaching that'll cause us to produce. Is that right? But you will never produce with the dead weight that is on you already. The messenger teaches us that the black man is poison and rusty. You can have a desire to do something. You can want to do something. Dissatisfaction brings about a change. Is that right? You could be dissatisfied 100% and want to change. But if you got poison and rust and dust on top of your want and on top of your dissatisfaction, though you want to produce a change, it won't be the desired change you want because you're so poisoned, rusted, and dust controlled that you can't make a clear decision. So Muhammad's teaching is designed for you to realize that you're dissatisfied, give you a teaching that'll motivate you, then now take this teaching and get yourself out of the problems that this white man's world and our ignorance and laziness and that our parents has left us in. Is that right? Yes, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, first you got to realize if you was have to be arise, you was laying down. Right. Is that right? Yes, how many of us know we lay down? Yes. We lay down on a bus. Yes. We lay down walking down the street. We dead thinking we productive. Is that right? One of the ways you know you dead when you can't leave the house without your earphones, brothers and sisters. You need Pandora on a train. You need the mixtape apps. You need your iPod list and things of that nature just to function. But you're not realizing that the more you quoting these songs, the less you planning for yourself. The less strategizing you doing. The less righteousness you talking about. So we got to now begin to learn how to. Is that right? We don't got no time to play. We don't got time for shenanigans. Is that right? In fact, let's take it a step now. If all of us wrote our letters, is that right? Except for the babies. When you write your letter, time is on you faster than anybody else. Yeah. Because you took an oath that now I'm standing ready to stand up. And if you took an oath to stand up, but yet you neglecting to stand up, you will get charged for it. Because if part of you saying that I'm going to stand up and write my letter, you're telling the world and telling Muhammad that you're going to be a shining example for the nation of Islam. And if you ain't shining, you're going to get charged for it. So it's our duty here at the temple to train you. And wouldn't it be unfair for us to say, you got to pay $15 a week? $10, $5 every time there's a class. There's 3 classes at the temple now. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Wednesday, Sunday, and Friday. For the brothers, it's another FOI class, and for the sisters, MGT class. Some sisters in orientation, they be here on Saturdays. So every time you come in, you're almost expected to give to the temple. Is that right?
Yes,
let me stop there for a second. Let's get that into the mind of every believer in here. We come to the temple ready to unleash pockets. Is that right? Come ready to unleash sweat equity and give to Muhammad. Is that right? We should never come to Muhammad looking to pluck.
Right.
Looking to take.
Right.
Looking for what's owed. Looking for retribution. In fact, we are still getting paid from the work that we're getting done. Is that right? Your lifestyle should dictate what you're getting paid for Muhammad. And if you bring something to Muhammad, don't look for payment. Praises be to Allah. So, I forgot where I was at.
Take your time, brother minister.
Okay, now, we can't, the scripture says, it suggests that the people are laying down. And then it says, arise and shake the dust off of you. Okay, let's stop there for a second. Why do we call the white man's world dust? Let me stop for a second and say that dust, you can blow dust.
Yes.
You can blow at dust and it'll move. And the crazy part about it is it won't blow back. So most of the time, dust is accumulated from neglect or non-productivity. Is that right? So but the black man has been in America for 400 years and we've been laying dead. And because we have been unproductive, we have become dusted amongst us. And if you know anything about heating systems, that heater, you put too much dust on it, it'll cause a fire, brothers and sisters. You got too much dust and dirt in the lint trap of your dryer, it'll cause a fire. Is that right? Dust causes the problem of engines to move. Is that dead? Shake the dust off of you. Now, what is the dust? The messenger says to us that the dust and the darkness of this world is a falsehood for one. That's nothing. All you got to do is turn on a light and falsehood will flee. Is that right? Falsehood and untruth remains from non-productivity and non-movement. Is that right? So this dust, we call all you owe rent. We know you owe, some of us owe for rent. That's nothing. Some of us don't have a job. That's nothing. Some of us got 4 babies, no way to take care of them. That's nothing. I want you to understand that when you are with Allah, your problems are nothing. And as long as you are God, you can master your problems. It's an African proverb, praises be to Allah. It's an African proverb that says, don't tell your problems, it says, don't tell God how big your problems are. Tell your problems how big your God is. And that's how we should be. We be so stressed out. Man, I can't figure out. I'm overwhelmed. I'm stressed. All dust. All nondescript stuff that's not holding you back. The only thing that's holding you back is your inability to cope and deal with the situation. So Muhammad's symbol of Islam is to give you a teaching to not look at the problems in your life and get shook, but look at them, roll your sleeves up and say, I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to get busy. Is that right? Now, why do I say this? Because it's our duty to have to say this. Because we're telling you, you have to build a nation. We're telling you that you got to do something for yourself. And if we don't give you a way or teach you the understanding on how to do this, we can be charged just like the church. The church tell you to get off drugs, but don't give you no way to get off of it. They tell you to get off dope, but tell you to go to an NA meeting. And every week you go in an NA and you tell them that I'm an addict and my name is Dustin and I'll never give up smoking crack. I'll be an addict to the day of my life. There's no solutions in there for you. Solution, along with the solution, we got to give you a way to get it done.
That's right.
And we got to understand this because as parents, we never understood this. This is why we produce unproductive children. We put weight on children when they don't know how to do it. Nobody explains them, but we leave them left alone with these obligations. Not in Muhammad's temple, is that right? If we tell you to do something, we're going to give you a way and a means to get it done. Is that right? And if you don't, that's the official's fault here at Muhammad's Temple of Islam. Is that right?
That's right.
You don't got a way to pay your bills? We got pies and papers for you. Is that right? Excuse me, not your bills, your zakat. If you got a problem with paying your zakat, you can put some papers and pies. Is that right? If you don't got a problem about partying, stop hanging, live the program, and it'll add money to your life because you ain't doing the foolishness. Praise be to Allah. Now, with that being said, we ain't got a lot of time for a Savior's Day.
Right.
So if we're not going to go to Texas, brothers and sisters, I'm speaking to individuals. If you're not going to Texas, do your best to do what you do here.
That's right.
Even greater.
That's right.
Don't just say I ain't going to Texas and that's it. Like it ain't Savior's Day.
That's right.
It's still Savior's Day. You just not going to Texas. Is that right? And in fact, if you're a believer, you should feel some type of way that I'm not going to Texas. So I'm going to make something happen while I'm here. Is that right? That's how where we got to be at. Don't just don't cast Savior's Day off just because you're not going to Texas. All right. Now, as we said before, the dust is not the problem, but the inability to deal with your problems is the thing. Okay, now why would we call the white man the dust? If you go to Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, it's talking about the making of Adam. It said, "Oh Lord God formed man from the dust of the earth." Is that right? And breathed into that man the breath of life, and he became a living soul, right? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that the earth, a lot of times, is referred to as the people, right? Remember, the messenger said he's the woman people. Now, if the man was formed from the dust of the earth, it was produced from the lowest stages or the non-particles of the man. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Let me stop for a second. Assalamu alaikum, brother minister. The subject of what we're discussing is removing the dust, as the scripture says. "Arise, O you sleepers, and shake the dust off of you, and enter into Jerusalem and take the yoke off of your neck." And Muhammad's temple of Islam is designed to give you a teaching to shake the dust off. Black man is the white man in his world. Is that right? Now the scripture says that Genesis 2, it says that the Lord God formed man from the dust of the earth. The messenger teaches us that the earth is the people, right? Now, if you formed man from the dust of the earth, this means you formed him from people already, right? Now this is a grafting, is that right? Now, why did he say from the dust of the earth? What is dust? I'm just paraphrasing. It says fine particles of a whole. Is that right? Sawdust. You do the saw, you got the dust. It was once part of something, but now it is separated and it is useless. That's the second thing. Not only is it was once part of something, but it is now useless. Is that right? Now, this man was made from the dust of the earth. Now, we know that the earth was the people, right? Now, what is the dust? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the man started calculating time 78 trillion years ago. Is that right? He said we had the moon god 66 trillion years ago. Is that right? You add that up, 76 minus 60, 78 minus 66 is 12 trillion years. Right?
Yes, sir.
If we was on a planet Earth for 12 trillion years until that moon got exposed what was inside of us, right? Once that moon got exposed what was inside of us, now we begin to realize and see something that we never saw before. Is that right?
Right.
Now, when you realize and you see something that you never saw before, all right, give me a second. What is considered the fine particles and doing nothing? Particles and it's doing nothing. Is that right? Now, Master Farah Muhammad came and told us that the black man has two germs in him. Is that right? Yaqub went in one and separated the black from the brown. Is that right? And he reduced the germ of man into fine particles and broke him down. Is that right? All of that technology is particles of power of wisdom that is useless and non-productive. Is that right? It is wickedness that this white man is made from. Is that right? Useless knowledge. The messenger said that Adams was considered nothing because it was doing nothing. We was on a planet for 12 trillion years before we realized what was inside of us. This was dust. This was inside of us. Yaqub seen it, brought it out, and from the dust of man, he made a new man, brothers and sisters. That man is made different from you and I. In the scriptures it says, he made Adam to made all of the angels out of fire and out of dust, and told one to submit except Iblis. Submit except Iblis. Is that right? And he said he didn't want to submit because he was made out of fire. Is that right? Well, he was made out of fire, but he was made from dust first. The only difference is when he was made from dust, it was made out of haste. His dust was made out of, shaped out of iniquity and born in sin. So his shaping is totally different than you. What the devil like this? Because we got to remove the white man from us. And if we got to remove him from us as a whole, you personally got to remove him from your life, brothers and sisters. The same way that this devil came in is the same way you get rid of him. You have to understand how he got here to get him out of your life. We wake up every day. The messenger said that what's the most prayer that we should pray? The anxiety prayer. Why? Because dust got a hold of us. You're scared, brothers and sisters. That's dust, brothers and sisters. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Now, let me go for a second. Another reason why we say that this white man's world is dust to you. Nothing that this white man's world put on you is too strong for you. That'll make you go to depression. That'll make you go to drugs. That'll make you change your religion. This religion is strong if you hold it. Is that right? But you need to know that it is strong for you. You need to understand that it'll hold you up if you hold it. Is that right? But you can't. Why most of us can't? Because we're too scared to make a move. That fear is just like that dust. That dust can be easily removed. How many of us know if you come with a good spray bottle, you can get rid of dust? You come with a strong wind, you can get rid of dust. All of these things is the same way you got to remove the dust that is poisoning your mind and your heart and get it out of your life, brothers and sisters. Now, why do I say that? Because inside the darkness, brothers and sisters, was the devil. Is that right? It was something inside of us. Don't say it wasn't inside of you. Do we still? Do we still?
Yes, sir.
Do we lie?
Yes, sir.
The white man brought it out of us, but it couldn't have been brought out if it wasn't in you already. Right? So we clear on that the darkness and the dust of the devil is already inside of us, right? And we fight like hell to get rid of it, right? The messenger said it like this. He said, speaking of Allah, he said that excuse me. The Bible and the Holy Quran say that that Allah perfected the light. And he loved the light of himself to ultimately perfect the light, to ultimately destroy darkness. This is you and I's job today. All of us got dark past. All of us got dark sides. You come with your suit on, but when we peep in your window, it's like the dark side of that moon. Is that right? It's praise be to God. You got a dark side, right? Don't be sure. I tell some of the brothers and the sisters, they say times is hard for me. Times is rough. We like to run from it. The white man will give you dope. He'll give you a entertainment system. He'll give you flat screen TVs, cable, internet, movies, cars, clothes, all to forget your troubles. Is that right? But you can't forget them. You got to embrace them. Why? Because the first God did it. When he brought himself out of darkness, darkness preceded the light. But God saw a light in himself and loved the light better than he loved the darkness. You got to love the righteous side of you better than you love doing right. Inside of us is darkness and this light. Somebody step on your sneak, you ready to kill this nigga. That brother stole from me, don't you ever mention that nigga's name in here again. That's all darkness. Hey, I'm going to call out from work today. I ain't going to go in today. That's darkness. You telling a white fib, that's darkness. You being lazy, non-productive, that's darkness. We got darkness that we fighting with every day. Is that right? We not followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and we not fighting with darkness. So just like the God stepped out of the darkness, you got to step out of the darkness. And then when you step out of the darkness, you got to make your light shine. Is that right? You got to make your light shine. Praises be to Allah. Now, why do I say this? The Holy Honorable Elijah Muhammad says that we've been sitting here dead. And we've been sitting here laid down. And another scripture says, get the death scales off your eyes. Is that right? We got things that are around us that shapes and forms our mind. Can we give you an example? You lose your job. You don't got a lot of money. The rent man on your back. What kind of decision were you going to make when it's time to come to temple service? You might got to go to work. Is that right? So in order for you to literally live out your faith in its proper text, you got to literally step out of the darkness. Is that right? Because Islam doesn't work unless you step out of the darkness and perfect the light of Allah. You can't be doing both. You can't be a soldier on Sunday and a dead nigga on Monday. They got fruit class. Monday day we could be a nigga. 4 o'clock class start at 6. We can start winding it down. Is that right? You can't do that. You got to be a Muslim 100% of the time. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, he said there was a time that, praises be to Allah, he said there was a time that we was in darkness and we saw no light except the light of ourselves. He said he perfected his light so much that you now can't see outside of light. Think about that. You can't look up into the sky and see total darkness, can you? Should be the same way in your life. The same way you look up and don't see no darkness, the same way your parents and your children should be looking up at you and don't see no lying, don't steal no stealing, don't steal no cheating. You got to perfect it like that is inside of you. Praises be to Allah. We got to understand that, not to be philosophical, because you can go way deep off the end. Duality of man and all that kind of stuff. The messenger never taught none of that. But you do got a dark side to you, and you do got a light side to you. And the scripture says that Allah loves the dark to destroy the light. Excuse me. He loves the light to destroy the dark. This is the way you and I should be. Think and understand, brothers and sisters. 78 trillion years ago, the first God brought himself out of darkness. He prayed that a man will come after him to perfect his light. So 78 trillion years, all we're looking for is men to make the light better. Is that right? Now here it is. Allah came 9,000 miles, came and gave you a light, and now you're ready to sit on your hands. 78 trillion years worth of yearning, pleading, studying, sciencing up, probing and testing to bring forth perfect light. And now what are we going to do with it, brothers and sisters? That's what this is all about. How about Master Farad Muhammad? The messenger teaches us that the black man the one that stepped out of darkness, he had to be a black man. Why? Because he took the color in which he came from. Is that right? We're brown in complexion, but we're called the black. It's because it points to the origin of where we stepped out in time. We didn't step out of the womb of another woman. We didn't step out of the womb of a brown man. We didn't step out of the womb of a yellow man. We stepped out of darkness. We stepped out the mind of God, is that right? And that's how you got to be. It's darkness in America. It's dark in North Philly. It's dark in South Philly. It's dark in Germantown. It's dark all in the city of Philadelphia. Are you going to step out of it? Or are you going to make a fake light and just chill up under that? Or are you going to get with us and let's perfect the light so that our children can play? Is that right? So our children got somewhere where they can stay at. Okay. Now, this is the nature in which he was created, right? But the Holy Quran says, chapter 30, verse 30, says that man was created in the same nature in which Allah created himself. So if it worked for him, it works for you. Is that right? Praises be to Allah. Think of Master Farad Muhammad. Orthodox Muslims, hypocrites, and weak believers are trying to clown us for worshiping Master Farad Muhammad. But they don't understand. Is that right? They don't understand that Master Farad Muhammad came part of both. He can understand both, brothers and sisters. He was born, his mother was a devil, is that right? Don't tell us that our God don't understand what we go through. His mother was a devil. Our slave master, who we got Stockholm syndrome with, he had to step up and say, mother, I know you gave birth. I may have even suckled from your breast, but you are the devil. And I got to wake up and realize that I cannot love you the way that I need to love my other black brothers and sisters. You and I got to have that same heart. You got to look at that white woman who used to be your slave master. Is that right? And no longer love and honor them. Is that right? It's beautiful to see young brothers and sisters growing in the temple. When you begin to know your brothers and your sisters, you begin to know certain qualities and perks from one another, right? One of our brothers, when it start getting late, he get real silly. Is that right? We got another brother, when he's in conversation, he might do a subtle jerk. Is that right? We know our brother. Is that right? But we got one of our brothers, when he's feeling good and he's cocky, he don't look inside of himself. Now, all of us got it to a degree, but I see it once with this brother. He's feeling good about himself today. He don't brag too much about himself, although he brags a lot about himself. But sometimes he gets full up with the spirit of Allah and he starts feeling strong. And when we walking around together, you know what he said? That's my slave master? He can't be the one who ruled me for 400 years. That used to be my slave master. That we realize that this is dust. This is nothing. And it cannot no longer control me. This is how we gotta be. I ain't got no money, so what? I've been born broke. We used to being broke. Is that right? We ain't scared of that. We roll up our sleeves when it's time to give. Is it right? We ain't scared of nothing. And that's how we should be walking away, walking our lives like. Because we the God, not our problems. Is that right? We ain't overwhelmed. We ain't shy. We ain't timid. We ready to step out of the darkness. So how do we step out of the darkness? One of the ways that you got to step out of the darkness and step away from dust is really, and the sisters and the brothers and the children will know, anybody who cleans houses will let you know, the best way to get rid of dust is activity. Start moving. Start moving the mind. Stop watching movies and Instagrams and things start using things that elevate the mind and start waking up the mind. Is that right? Sometimes we get lulled to sleep, brothers and sisters, and we got good ideas. We got good ideas, but you know what kills it? Work. I don't know what some of the new songs is now, but these songs knocks them right out. You got a good plan. You know what? I'm going to do this. It ain't even got to be about business all the time. That sister, she really look good. I got the heart today. You know, I'm going to push up. You hear a song, that idea went right out of your mind. Is that right? You got to bust a move. Don't never say you don't got nothing to do. If you don't got nothing to do, check your plans, brothers and sisters. And then, all of the tags, take for example, waking up in the morning. You may say, there's no stores. There's nothing open at 5:30 in the morning. What can I do at 5:30 in the morning? You can talk about what you're going to do to yourself. You can plan out what you're going to do. I'm pretty sure some paperwork you got to fill out. Fill that out. Is that right? Go get some gas. Go do something. We got to now begin to be productive. Is that right? All praise is due to Allah. Okay. It seems ritualistic, but whenever you chink a brother and a sister, you shaking the dust off, brothers and sisters. Don't you know we are a people who hate each other? This is why we got to sit next to one another. This is a rule here. Don't feel obligated or feel awkward when a brother tell you to move over. It's sad to force black people to sit next to one another. You don't know how many times I sit on a bus and I think I'm an all right brother to look at. I don't stink or nothing like that. But don't nobody want to sit next to Brother Ali. They hate sitting next to niggas on the bus, brothers and sisters. We got to force each other to sit next to one another. So when you embracing a brother and before you even get to him, you smiling. You magnetizing, shaking one another. This will begin to shake the dust off of you mentally because this is my brother. I ain't giving one of these corny fake pounds. I ain't giving them gang handshakes. I ain't giving him the corny, what's up, fake, bro. I gave him a real sincere. And if you a believer, you know you got to always be sincere back. Is that right? That's one way to shake the dust off. The dust comes from non-productivity, and the best way to not let the dust settle on your mind is to use the mind and feed the mind.
Yes, sir.
Don't you know, brothers and sisters, you got big muscles today, but if you don't work out, that'll turn all into fat tomorrow, brothers and sisters. How many of you ever seen some of them wrestlers and some of them football players? When they got out of sports, they family and sick. Is that right?
Yes,
Can't even run up the bleachers, let alone work out.
Yes, sir. Take your time, brother. That's right.
And the mind is a muscle. You gotta work this. You can't write your letter, say a couple prayers, read a couple lessons, and then go back to sleep. In fact, it'll be even harder to restart it, brothers and sisters. How many of us realize in robbing a stick shift, it's harder to go from first to 3, or from 3rd all the way to 5th or 6th? Is that right? Then go up gradually. Is that right? This is how we got to do in our lives, but we don't do it too much. So, brothers and sisters, let us begin to look at our lives totally different so that we can get productivity out of it. And the reason why we got to know what productivity look like is because people are listening to us.
That's right.
Don't you know we got something strange and attractive to the people?
Yes.
But when you say this and your lifestyle is still the same darkness that they in, they forgot everything you said. So you have an obligation to show this work. Other than that, you doing a nation harm by talking good, by living otherwise. Our people are already weak. So if they see you talking good, but you barely living it, and it's hard for you, what am I going to pick it up for? So we got. Now, if I can be, I would like to speak about the brother who killed the cop. And the reason why I want to do that is because we have testimonies that we have to use at the temple. I was speaking to Brother Captain, and he was saying how brother was in the temple, and he had psychotic issues. Right. Let me stop for a second because this is what they're saying. Right. This brother was crazy. Right. He was mental. Right. He was seeing voices. He was this, that, and the third. Now that he go crazy, the brother that killed the cop, now that he did something, everybody's stepping away from him and using those, echoing those sayings. Is that right? We telling the world that it stand up behind it. Is that right? We tired of leaders standing up in front of us claiming to profess to teach us something, and then when they don't teach us something and we fail, they step aside from us. We tired of these Uncle Tom niggas want to teach us, take our money, but when we do something because you're not teaching us right, you ready to ease on away from us. That'll never happen at the temple. We support and we love the black man here. In fact, those who got mental problems, that's who we looking for, because they the ones that's tied up and fed up. They the ones that ready to take the injured. That's the problem with most Muslims. They ain't ready to die. Some believers, some of these brothers and sisters out here, they ready to die.
Yes, sir.
They ready to die. Some of us ain't. This is why we don't excel in our Islam. You want to hold, not die mentally. Die. Hear me out for a second. Let me stop for a second. We need to get those black people who are frustrated and angry. Because they are charged up. That charged up, we need that energy. Because we got wisdom, we got money, we got a plan, we need the energy. We getting people who don't got no energy. They content, they chilling, they like to bear witness and go home. We need people that's tired of this. That's willing to put it all on the line. The only thing, make sure that we save your life rather than kill you. Is that right? Yes. How many of us realize that what that brother did, that's the will of Allah? Right. What do I mean by that? How long are white folks going to kill black folks until somebody start yearning for a change? Right. How long is we going to be yearning for a change, but we don't got a solution until somebody act like a nut? I'm not saying Master Farad Muhammad made it happen, but when you understand the will of Allah, he either make things happen or he allows things to happen. And this is our problem. We as Muslims, we are held accountable for the uncivilized. So it should be wrong for us to stand up and disassociate ourselves. We need to stand up and take charge of the uncivilized because that's our job. Is that right? We got it now begin. How many of us realize Joseph? We make ourselves, and forgive me if I'm wrong. I hate Uncle Tom, imams, and ministers holding up Islam.
Right.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
If a deer, I ain't gonna go there. If a deer, you ride down Jordan, New Jersey to see your family in the woods, right, and a deer run out and jump right in front of a car and crack the windshield wiper. Do the next morning, all of the deers call up Fox News 29 and say, hold on, That deer jumped in front of this car, and we don't do that. He's a crazy deer. We the righteous deers, and we told him to stay in the woods. No, they don't do that. It is what it is. Is that right? And that's how we is. When you understand, as Don King put it, the frustrations of the ghetto manifesting itself. These people are dissatisfied. You being a sucker in front of these Uncle Tom, or in front of these political leaders because they're giving you money. They giving you money, and you ready to slide off from the very people who need you. We need to be like Joseph. When Joseph was in prison, brothers and sisters, there was writing on the wall that they did not understand. Joseph had to come and read the handwriting on the wall and say, hold on, king, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And then when the king realized that he couldn't read the dream, but Joseph did, he began to respect Joseph, right? This is us.
Yes, sir.
We got the solution.
Yes, sir.
But with the solution, are we going to act like Uncle Tom's? Or are we going to come with the solution?
Yes.
The solution is, you know what? This is what should have happened. If Brother Minister was up there, this is what would have happened.
That's right.
Listen,
Yes, sir.
we fed up. And if you don't let us go, this is going to continue to happen. Is that right? We asked y'all, you see the back of our paper? We asked y'all 45 years ago to let us go. And because you did it, this is what's happening. But these coward Uncle Tom preachers and imams is getting money from these crackers. So they got to cool down the congregation by letting these people know that we ain't with them. We not with it either, but we with our brother.
That's right.
That brother wasn't a believer. He don't know the rules and the laws, so we can't hold him to our laws, but we here to support the black man. Every black man that's frustrated in hell, we representing them. Is that right? We ain't saying we condone it. We're not telling you to go get a gun. We're telling you to now let's take up the real jihad. Jihad is when the Muslims is ready to kill and fight to see righteousness established. Is that right? So now we want to take the energy that these brothers and sisters got and put it to work. You willing to listen to this? For a second. If you are willing to take your pistol out when you know there's cameras everywhere, walk right across the street, put your pistol right into the cop's car, you got heart.
That's right.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
You got heart to risk it all. I'm not saying you should do that. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. But we need that type of a heart. We need the type of a heart to walk right up on our problems. Don't our lessons say we meet and overcome all obstacles in our path? Some of our brothers and sisters don't want to meet nothing. This is why we don't progress in Islam. We need the people that's so fed up they willing to try anything. And as long as when our people are rebellious, you standing there and you siding with the skunk, they'll never come to you. How many of us realize there's a lot of black people liking what that black man did? Only because they don't understand and they frustrated too. We need to let those people know we feel your frustration. And until you do something to change it, it's going to continue to happen. But come on down here and get with us. I remember Brother Minister Jeremiah, Brother Captain Quadus, Captain Akbar, and Brother squad leader at the time, Quadus, used to tell us that Brother Minister Jeremiah used to say, no publicity, no, bad, what is it? Any publicity is good publicity, right? He said something happens, the fruit should be right down there immediately. We tired of this. Come down to the temple, this, that, and the third. We should be raising hell. Is that opposite? When that brother was right there, somebody should have been in the fruit right there. And when we got our paper, brothers and sisters, we going to do that. Is that right? When we got our paper, we're going to have a brother right there from Muhammad Speaks. Like, what happened?
That's right.
What? Bring it. Brother Leroy, get a picture of that, brother. We're going to be right there on the scene, letting the people know we right here for you. Is that right? Our people are dead in the mud. They frustrated out there, and they don't have no hope. I know what it feels to be like that. I know what it feels. They said that the brother had priors, and he was going to court that Monday. I know what it feels like, brothers and sisters. I know what it feels like to know you ain't got no more appeals.
Right.
And you got another charge. And you know that you got baby mama drama. So when you come out, not only do you got parole fines, you're going to have child support arrears. You frustrated. You don't want to hear no zakat. You don't want to hear no righteousness. You are fed up. And our people need help. They don't need alienation. They don't need self-righteous people talking about we ain't down with that. We understand that. That's why we're here, because we don't want to do that. And there is no other hope. Is that right? So we want our brothers and sisters to realize, don't pick up no gun.
No, sir.
Fight in the way of Allah and build a nation. If you want to realize why that devil ran that footage of the black man sticking his gun in there, that was nothing to him. That was lunch to him. In fact, that was a video game for him. That was Grand Theft Auto for him. Is that right? To take a pistol, that's the devil delights that. He like to see you with a gun in your hand. Because if he know you got a gun in your hand, you don't got God on your hand. Is that right? And why do we say that? Because you can fend the devil off by building a nation. Is that right? Stop sending your children to him. Stop sending our babies to him. Is that right? So the more we build up, our righteousness will keep the devil away. Any wise general, right, will never send his troops into battle unprepared. Is that right? It's better for us to fight by building a nation because we don't know how to shoot. We don't got no guns to even practice. Is that right? Some brothers got Tech 9, some brothers got AR-15s, but ask them how many bullets they got. Huh? How many vessels do they got? How many training grounds where they doing road tucks and spinning with guns? Right. You look on internet, these crackers is not playing with these guns. We was watching outside, right? Brother said, I'm going to let Master Fall Muhammad handle these fights because these crackers wasn't playing. They had machine guns and they just walked. Matter of fact, brother was doing beatboxing with guns and yes, sir. It was amazing to think you want to go out here with a little rusty 38 and go fight this devil. Right. This white man been fighting for 6,000 years, brothers and sisters. He fought his way out of the caves, brothers and sisters. You can't contend with him. Is that right? Why do we say that? We are removed from knowledge. But this white man isn't. He has a greater knowledge than us. Again, dust. Last 10 minutes before I go. Dust is fine particles that was once part of something but are now useless. Is that right? This white man's wisdom can be considered dust. Why? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that we got 60, listen to these numbers, brothers and sisters, books on mathematics, 60,000 books on history, 60,000 books on astronomy, 60,000 books on different various topics on the sciences of life. Is that right? Yes, sir. We gave the white man one book of mathematics, not the whole thing, just one teeny particle of wisdom. And he built this whole world off of that one book. Now, if he only got that one fraction small of a book, it's easy for Allah to come in and kick him right over. We'll be wasting our lives and our time trying to fight with him. We got to learn how to get right and prepare to live ourselves in the hereafter. Is that right? We don't got no time to be fighting this white man and then he changed the rules and the laws on us. Is that right? So, without that being further ado, I would like to bring my lecture to a close. And I hope that the brothers and sisters are enjoying what we're doing here at Muhammad's Temple. We're doing something great. And I don't think we traveled farther as far as Texas in a few years. Is that right? That's great. And that's beautiful. And we should do our best as all believers to try to make it there. Yes. If you can't make it there, as we said before, Savior's Day here in Philadelphia has to be made beautiful. Yes. Is that right? Yes. We got to do all that with it. So what does that mean, brothers and sisters? Get a new suit. Get a new garment. Is that right? That ain't too much for the followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, is it? We got a month, is that right? So let's look what us to do. Now, we always say, we can't be too cheap to get in heaven, brothers and sisters. I want to be honest. It's hard to get up money. The brothers were just talking about it out there earlier. We perform better when a gun is up under us. How many of us realize that if you have a sincere heart, whether you can actually do it or not, but if you sincerely try to spend in Islam, Allah will make sure you get it. And whenever you get, He'll give you more. This is the problem with us. We don't want to spend. When it comes to trying to spend, we like, hell no, I'll wear these. That's for Islam. And He'll find a way for you to get it. Is that right? When that white man told you either get here on parole by 4 o'clock, be here at this office at 4 o'clock. I know you get off at 3 o'clock. I don't care what time that 52 run. At 4 o'clock, you not here, you're going to jail. Them niggas be standing outside on Broad Street in front of McDonald's, do they? They be out there. Don't say you can't get it done. When somebody call you up and say, we got $1,500 for you, make it to City Hall by 2 o'clock, you'll find a way to get there. When it's time for the things you want and what you need, you'll find a way to get it. Start doing it for Muhammad. And you'll realize that you'll have profit. I gotta say that. A lot of times, you'll do whatever it takes to get them new pair of sneaks. You'll get the sneaks, but you'll miss out on something else. But if you sacrifice for Islam, you'll get that what you was getting, and Allah will bless you, brothers and sisters. So without further ado, let's bring up our hard-working resident minister. And I leave as I greet you, our brother minister, Amu Taqwan Ali. As I leave as I greet you, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. In the most holy name of Allah,